Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. Erika Maddamma joining us here from Living Sunny. Yes, we're talking about Sunny Spaces organizing. And of course, she's here as our professional organizer and help. She's helping people like myself and so many people out there who are overwhelmed, need some help. And for today, we're doing a spring break travel and packing tips. But first and foremost, Erika, please introduce yourself to our listeners. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. So I'm Erika Maddamma, the owner of Sunny Spaces Organizing. We're based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But we also, well, I guess here in Pittsburgh, we'll offer going into people's homes and organizing. I'm in my car today because I'm outside a client's house. We're rearranging her entire kitchen, so it's a big project today. But virtually, we also help people either virtually organize their space, or we offer some coaching to get to understand why we are the way we are and help you kind of rewire your brain so you can become an organized person.
Thank you. And I know we've done like spring cleaning, spring organizing, and perfect segue for spring break travel and packing tips, because that's all coming up. And you know what? I have never been able to just take a carry-on somewhere. Have you?
Oh, I do not fly with a checked bag ever. I only fly with a carry-on.
Oh my
Um,
goodness. How do you do it? I'm going to learn about you. You got to teach
yeah,
me this.
it's the minimalism way, I guess. You know what? It started when my past job before I started my business, I traveled for corporate all of the time. So I was on airplanes every single week, multiple times a week, and I learned that if you have less stuff to cart around with you, it's easier when things go wrong, when your flight gets delayed or when you get snowed in somewhere, you still have all of your stuff with you. So that's been a learning curve along the way for sure, just knowing it's simpler to travel with less. But even with my kids, I will get us packed down to a carry-on for three of us for a long weekend. I've gone home to Connecticut with just a backpack before on an airplane. Just try to only bring the essentials with me and yeah, not overpack. So some of it is just have like personality. I'm not a huge style or fashion person, so I don't need 10 different
The
outfits,
change of
but
shoes, the change of this. Yeah. But if you're going on
exactly.
vacation, well, it depends. If you're going on vacation and there's like a washer dryer, that's a different story. But a lot of times you go to
True.
a hotel, it's like, what if the clothes get dirty with the kids? And I always panic and I bring like five pairs of pants instead of two.
Yes. Yeah, so a couple things. One is just to always think about what the weather is going to be. I think that, typically we'll look ahead and say, oh, well, it's going to be sunny and 70, so I'll need shorts and t-shirts when I'm there. But being really mindful of what you need when you're there and then packing in layers. So we just went to Disney a couple weeks ago, which was
Yeah.
so amazing. And I knew we wouldn't really need much for jackets. It's Florida. I mean, it was chilly in the mornings, chilly at night, but we weren't wearing jackets most of the time. So everyone got one um outer layer, like a zip up that they could easily just peel off when they didn't need it in the morning, and then basically they just lived under the stroller all day long.
Yes.
um but just packing in those layers, things that are easy, it's like a sports shirt and then a tank top underneath, so when it gets hotter, you're able to just take one thing off and
So three layers,
relayer it
right? The
later.
outside jacket, the shirt, and the tank top. Got it.
Yep, yep. So layers are helpful, and then also things that can easily be mixed and matched. So maybe it's more neutral things that you're packing instead of some loud shirts that don't, a pair of shorts that only go with the one shirt. Kind of limit some of that specialty outfits. Save those for home, because if you
Okay.
can just throw on some jean shorts, then any shirt that you bring is going to match it. And so let's say you're, able to wear them a second time. You only wear them for a couple hours at night. You can go ahead and rewear them the next day without worry of if whatever you brought is going to match. So easily mix and match, just in layers, and then bring things that are wrinkle resistant, because I don't know about you, but I don't iron at home. So there's no way I'm ironing something on a
Heck
special trip.
no. Heck no. And can I make a suggestion? I always had
Absolutely.
a problem overpacking. I would bring like seven bathing suits for each day. And every time I wear just the same one or two. Like there's
Yeah.
no need. It was always a bathing suit overpacker. Like, really? Who am I there to
Yeah.
impress? Am I really going to wear? I don't want this different tan line. So I think that's something women,
Right.
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. And who's going to remember what you wore the day prior? I always bring two bathing suits because I figure if one's still a little wet, I don't want to put it back
Yeah.
on wet. It's like, meh. But two bathing suits is plenty. And who's gonna know? It's like I'm either with my family and who, like, am I trying to impress them, or I'm with a bunch of strangers and they're not gonna be like, oh, that girl wore that bathing suit on Tuesday. Who is she? no one cares. You're doing it for yourself. And so you're just creating more laundry, more packing, more to put away at the end of the trip, which is really what we want to try to minimize.
Got it. Well,
So
thank you for that. All right, all right. And
yeah.
you mentioned you got to consider the weather and the activities you're planning to do. Perfect. What else?
Yeah, and I think with the beach, bringing up bathing suits is a great point. I feel like a beach trip, I always overpack, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what, because I don't end up really wearing anything. For us, it's typically my kids are little, so we don't do a whole lot of out to eat or other activities. And so by the time I change out of my bathing suit to maybe eat dinner or do something else, I'm in that outfit for such a short period of time. It can be reworn. It's
Yep.
sometimes I just like go ahead and throw my cozies on and that's it for the night. So just
Cozies.
left my cozies, yes. Less clothing than you think for beach vacations for sure. For cruises, even I feel like that's a big one of overpacking is like, oh, I gotta wear a fancy dress every single night to dinner. Again, you wear it for a couple hours, so you could rewear it, or again, you could go more casual on some of those nights too. You don't have to dress to the nines every single time.
I agree. Perfect, perfect. All right, what else?
One of the other things with packing itself is I don't know if I've said this before on the podcast, but I always recommend packing in those cubes. Do you know what I'm talking about with those? They're
No,
like the zippers.
a what? A zipper cube?
I should have brought one with me. Yeah, it's basically like its own little mini bag, and a lot of them are compression ones, so they'll zip around again, so they take up less space. But essentially, I pack everybody into their own cube. It's like they're called packing cubes. You guys can look them up on Amazon or anywhere you like to shop. But they basically just like a little zippy bag. They're rectangular,
Okay.
and I pack each kid into it. So when we get to our location, it's like, okay, this is your dresser. Here's your cube of clothes. Here's your cube of clothes. Ours stays separate, so everybody's stuff isn't all mixed together. But the
Okay.
ones I buy have like this extra zipper that like compress it all down so you can fit a lot more in your suitcase. And where that gets you in trouble is then you're over your 50-pound weight limit because you're like, oh, I can fit more in here.
Yep.
Um, but that's a really helpful way to keep everybody organized and kind of prevent everybody's stuff from mixing together.
Now, let
So,
me ask you this. When
yeah.
you are packing, what is the secret for folding to get in these bags? What do you do? Some people roll, some people fold. Is there the best technique? Do you know what that is?
I used to roll, but I found that like because my clothes aren't coming out of my dresser rolled, that it just like took more time.
Okay.
It's supposed to help prevent wrinkles and take up less space, but I tend to just do like a small fold. So if anyone's familiar with the Marie Kondo file fold, or you basically like fold a t-shirt normal and then fold it in half again.
Yep.
That's how I tend to kind of fold everything so that there's like all these neat little piles of shirts and neat little piles of shorts that are folded in extra time as well. Um, that tends to be what works for me. I like to have like all the shirts together, shorts together, undies together, socks together.
Yep.
So that's typically what I do. I even do it with my husband's clothes, which are obviously much bigger than the 2-year-old's clothes. So for all sizes, that's what I found to be most helpful. Really stays pretty wrinkle free and keeps everything together.
Oh my goodness. Well, hold on, hold on. What about those people who vacuum like it's like a vacuum suck thing? Do you do
Yeah.
that?
I do not do that. But I also
Okay.
don't pack so much that I need to do that, but I
Okay.
kind of admire the people that do. I just wonder on the other end, do you have a vacuum to resuck it all back up, or are you going to be
Yeah,
stuck
that's
in
a
your hotel?
perfect. All right, good. I'm not
But
missing anything there. All
no,
right,
I don't
go
think so.
ahead.
I don't think so. One of my girlfriends just recently did this for her Disney trip. She puts all the kids' bags, clothing for the day in a Ziploc baggie. So
Okay.
she'll throw in their shorts, their t-shirt, their undies, their socks, whatever they need. Here you go. Here's Tuesday. And they go in the bathroom, get themselves changed. She said it's a very efficient way to get everybody out the door, especially for something like Disney where you're up and you're
Yep.
out and trying to keep
Mm-hmm.
everybody moving. And her other selling point on that was that none of your clothes actually touch the inside of a hotel um, dresser. Excuse me.
Sure. Excuse. Interesting. All right, that's another good tip. What else?
Yeah, labeled by day. All right, so as I'm getting ready for a trip and as I'm getting ready to pack, I always make a list. I'm a big list person just by nature. But I'll kind of think about like, okay, we're going for 7 days, so we need 7 shirts, we need whatever, 7 shorts. And for the kids, to your point before about like, yeah, someone is surely messing something up. Someone's probably peeing in something. Like we need a few backups, absolutely. So I'll just bring like 2 extra outfits typically.
Okay.
Can worst comes to worst, you wash them in the sink at the hotel room. But I tend to make a list, and then like Florida was easy to pack for coming from the north this time of year because we didn't need anything. So I was able to pull everything out ahead of our trip and just lay it all out on our guest bed is typically where I like my landing zone for packing. Um, and but then there's always the last minute stuff. There's the bathroom stuff, there's toiletries, there's chargers, things that you can't pack right away. So that's the
Hmm.
important things to write down and kind of cross off as you get closer. Um, the other thing I was just lost my train of thought on, I had a great idea. Oh, pajamas. Do you bring a pair of pajamas for your kids for every single night?
I don't anymore. I let them just wear their clothes to bed.
Hmm. That's
Well,
related to
because I
my
always
mom.
because I bring so much extra clothes, so that's my problem. So,
That's funny. Well, I typically bring like two pairs of jammies for the kids. Like I'll let them wear them 2 or 3 nights and
mhm,
then um rewash them. I know some people like want to wear new pajamas every single night. I just feel like that's such a waste of laundry, so that's a good way to minimize as well.
okay,
Um and then keep in mind other things that you might need for travel, like packing your water bottles, your headphones. Like I try to kind of visualize the entire trip from getting in the car to getting to the airport, or if it's a car ride, all the car, how long the car ride is, all the snacks we're going to need and all of that.
mm,
Just kind of write down from the beginning to the end what we're going to need. Um, and then kind of I even go so far as to picking out what I'm going to wear on my travel days because I know then I'll have that down there. If I'm wearing a jean jacket, well, that'll be versatile. So wearing some of your
you're
bulkier clothing on
good.
the airport too is really a good idea. You want to be warm on the plane, and then you want to have that down there to be versatile. Perfect. Um, so that's kind of my thoughts on packing. The other thing I was really proud of myself when we went to Disney was I brought a little thing of dish soap with me
Okay,
and a little thing of laundry soap because I always bring like our reusable water bottles with us everywhere we go so we can just fill up at the airport, not always buying bottled water. So I knew I'd want to wash out our water bottles and just to
great.
have something like that on hand. And then my husband needed it because guess who didn't pack enough underwear for himself? One person to pack for, and he didn't pack enough. So he ended up
That's
using the
so
laundry soap
funny.
in the sink there. Got to do what you got to do. So those are good little things to keep on hand. Um, Another fun tip is sunscreen. If you put that in an insulated bag, like I just have this actually in my car from 31, just like a little
Let's
insulated
say,
bag is helpful.
okay.
Um, so that does keeps the sunscreen cooler. A lot of times when you open it up, it'll explode everywhere.
I hate
So
that.
keeping
I
it
hate
cooler.
that. Mm-hmm.
hmm Yep. So that's a helpful one for the beach. And then I know I keep talking about Disney, but it was a magical trip and we just got back.
And a lot of people
Another
do it, so I think it
Yeah,
resonates to a lot of our listeners for sure.
I think one thing that was the most helpful if you've been and you're getting on and off these buses with a stroller, if you have young kids, bring like a reusable grocery bag, one of those
Okay,
big tote bags with you, so that when you have to go to get on the bus, you can shove all the stuff that landed in your stroller throughout the day into that bag, carry that on while someone else folds the stroller. Otherwise, you go to fold the stroller and all that stuff's all over the sidewalk.
can
Excuse me.
I also make a suggestion? I think
Yeah,
everyone,
of course.
strollers are free to bring on the plane, right? I don't know
hmm
what airline you fly. I think that's a blessing because even if you have older kids, because my kids are 7 and 9, they don't fit in the stroller anymore, but I still bring the stroller when I travel because when we're going someplace, it's good to have something to hold your stuff. And you can
All
go
the
into
stuff.
Disney with the stroller without putting the kid in it. And it can hold all your bags, the souvenirs, the food, the drinks. It's like, I don't know how people
Exactly.
go around, especially a park like that, without a stroller.
I don't know how anyone survives
Could you
without a
imagine
stroller.
yourself doing that one day? Or are you going to use the
No,
stroller like me all the time?
probably. I mean, maybe I'll downgrade to the single version right now. Today, last time we used the double, which was fine. I mean, my 5-year-old rode in it more than my 2-year-old did. He was
Okay.
smart.
Wow.
It took a lot of walking, but yeah, just to hold all the stuff and like you said, the food and the drinks and have some kind
Yep.
of cup holder so you can have your hands free to do something else. And absolutely.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'll be holding on to my stroller for a long time.
Good. And people make fun of me. They're like, why you have the stroller? Even when I go to their sporting events. I'm like, because as a single mom, I can't put their backpacks, their soccer balls, their drinks, it just doesn't make sense. So, and their snacks.
Yeah.
So everyone makes fun of me, but I'm like, you're just jealous because you guys are carrying everything and I'm not.
Yeah, I know. And then where
So
are you supposed to put your own coffee? Exactly.
exactly. So by the way, just a quick pause. How do we reach you?
Oh yeah, of course. So you can look for us on Instagram or Facebook at Sunny Spaces Organizing, or visit our website at livingsunny.com. Send us a message there. We'd be happy to talk to anybody who's interested in organizing services.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much. Now, also, as far as, packing, let's talk about what about if we're in the car, right? That's another
Yeah.
situation too.
Yeah, last summer we did a lot of long car rides, and again, my son was only 1 and 4. So we had a lot of stuff on that one. That would not be my proud moment of minimalist packing, but I also wanted to be really prepared. Like it was one of the first long car rides with the baby. How's it gonna go? He doesn't really watch. Like my 4-year-old, you give him his tablet and 8 hours later, we'll see you. Like he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the younger ones, it's hard. It's constant snacks, it's constant activities, it's books. So I have this little like tote caddy that I would bring with us, and I would load it with their favorite books, toys, just like little things that they could play, like little animals and figurines they could play in their seat with. Um, I would sometimes go to the dollar store and just buy a couple new things. So, had that novelty of like, wow, I haven't seen this before. Or I would take away some of their favorite toys like a month before we left and then like represent it to them in the car. So again, it had that newness to it.
Yep, we talked about
Um,
that before, putting toys away in the
yep,
house and doing that. Good one,
yep,
good one.
exactly. And really, I feel like it came down to all the snacks, all the snacks, and all the snacks. So just having a place where they're accessible, a cooler bag so that you can keep some of those items cool. I feel like my youngest guy has allergies, so it's hard for us just to drive through and get something for everybody to be happy. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that stuff can be packed. But we were really strategic too in knowing like where there might be a playground along the way. So if we all just needed to get out and have an hour out of the car and let the boys run around, we knew we would be taking our time and just getting somewhere. So just kind of having some of those planned stops along your route is really helpful as well.
Great. Well, also, you have more tips and tricks. And Erica Maddamma, just a little bit about your background. How long you been doing this for? Would you mind just sharing to our listeners? And of course, I know you're based out of Philadelphia, but you also do stuff like this on Zoom where you can help people, right?
Yeah, Zoom is a wonderful thing. Absolutely. Yeah, so I've been in business, let's say I started in 2020, so we're a little over 4 years into business. I was really driven to do this after I had my son, Caleb, who's 5. Um, I just saw other moms really struggling with the amount of stuff that they had and where to put the baby items and how to manage their day to day. And I just didn't have that same struggle in my own experience. And so I knew that I could help people figure out where to put the stuff and figure out the systems and the processes for themselves. Excuse me. I'm just coming
No
off
problem.
the flu, which was terrible.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
Everyone's been so sick with this weather.
Oh, I hope you feel
Anyway,
better. Go ahead, go ahead. Well, that's
thank
it too.
you.
Hold
Thank
on.
you.
Why I travel
Um,
heavily. In
yeah.
my suitcase, if I'm traveling, I also bring every medication possible. I bring the Robitussin, I bring the children's flu, I bring the children's allergy, I bring all my stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. I
So
just
how do
did
you
that on our trip
do?
to Disney. Normally, I don't do that because I'm like, well, if I need something, I'll just run. There's going to be a Rite Aid or something down the road. I'll just run out and grab it. I bring Tylenol for the kids and I bring Zyrtec just in case we have an allergic reaction. Like those are things I just don't leave the house without. But otherwise, I feel like all that stuff is so easily to be purchased if needed that I don't bring the whole medicine cabinet with me typically.
I do
For Disney,
just
I
to
did
hear
because we
this.
didn't have a car.
Mhm.
We didn't have as much accessibility to getting things. So I did bring like a whole Ziploc baggie. And actually, I went to the dollar store. This is a good tip. And I got their to-go salad dressing containers, like those little, like you would put your salad dressing in to take to work at lunch. And I filled that with the boys' medicine because I didn't think I needed the whole big jar, but it was good to have some on hand if we needed it. It was just much smaller to travel with, so I brought those into the park with us as well, just like a mini version, which was kind of, I thought, a good idea instead of
Well,
bringing the whole big jug with you.
was it hot down there while you were there or no? Like I went to Disney in August, so I also had to pack
Oh
all these
God.
little handheld fans for my family.
No, it was not like that. We did have one of the stroller fans that clipped on, but it was in the 70s. It was not bad at all.
That's good
So,
then. All
yeah.
right. Now, I think I'm digressing, but back to the car rides also. What do you suggest with the car rides that's different from packing regularly?
So I think the biggest thing is if you're sleeping over somewhere, like you're gonna stay overnight in a hotel and continue on to get to your destination the next day. In that case, I recommend just packing one overnight bag that has everybody's jammies and toothbrushes and an outfit for the next day. Maybe if you're going to use the hotel pool, it has everyone's bathing suits in it. But that way you're not unloading the whole car to then just like repack it again in the morning. So just kind of one go bag, overnight bag. Keeping that kind of handy and when you're packing the car, be strategic on where you put that one. I also recommend keeping some trash bags, just like grocery store bags in the car for keeping up with the trash. I don't know if it's just my kids, but all they do is snack. So it's like constant wrappers. And then we got the joy of dealing with car sickness on our last trip. So just good to have extra bags, paper towels, things like that in the car in case that unfortunate things like that happen. But otherwise, I don't pack all that differently, other than really we'll pack all into one suitcase. We don't have to worry about that 50-pound weight limit if we're not flying, which is kind of nice. Sorry.
That's okay.
But
Well, also, I eat in the car. I keep plastic bags and paper towels
yep. And
because
baby
my
wipes.
kid gets it, and baby wipes always. Yep,
Yep. Yep.
absolutely.
Yep. The
That's
other, I think, really good tip is depending on where you're going for vacation. I mean, we did this for Disney and we always do it for our beach trips. It's like you need groceries when you get there. If you're renting a house, you definitely need groceries. If you're staying in a hotel, you might just need some snacky things. Um, but you can do an Instacart order before you even leave and have it ready for delivery to your hotel, to your house, so you don't ever have to go into the grocery store. That's a huge time saver. Just kind of high level plan out your meals, know what snacks, what breakfast, lunch foods you're going to have. Place your Instacart order, just have it there, have it ready at your hotel room. That saved us a lot of money in Disney, not worrying about basically, breakfast and lunches. Kids just had their bars and their pouches and they were good to go. But the other part that I think no one thinks about is like, what are we coming home to? I know when we leave for vacation, it's like, okay, finish all the milk. We're not buying any more. Eat the last slice of bread. Like we're done. Eat all the fruit. So you come home to this empty fridge. And then what? You've traveled all day. You're starving. The last thing you want to do is get back in the car and go to the store. The kids are whining. You've already eaten out for the last 7 days. So I also recommend that you make a grocery list for when you return and then do a scheduled pickup, or if you have delivery, wherever you have near you, curbside pickup, and just have that like ready to go for when you get back. So typically when we're driving back, I'll place my order in the car, but I already have my list on my phone ready. So then we can
Yep.
just zip through
That
and we have
happened
food
to
when we get
us
home.
because yeah, we came home from Florida and I didn't have milk and it was late at night and they wanted milk in the morning and I'm like, had to run out and I hated that feeling. It'd be nice if I
Uh,
could leave a list for someone. Could you pick this up for me while I'm gone? Maybe I have a
Yeah,
family member or a friend.
yeah, absolutely. If you have someone close by or someone watching a pet, it's like, hey, I'm gonna have this stuff delivered. Can you just be there at
Yeah.
this time to put it away for me?
And
Why
another
not?
thing, I got to commend
Absolutely.
the strollers for already. I'm not condoning this, but I really am. I hide snacks in my strollers
Yes.
in the pockets and packs. So like you're not allowed to
Yep.
bring outside food into Disney. I mean, so yeah, my kids need some like goldfish or something because then sometimes the lines for food is ridiculous. So I pack it
Yeah.
away underneath things. Guilty.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
in closing today, we got, well, 3 minutes left. What other tricks and tips do you want to offer?
I guess I would just kind of summarize and saying, I probably am making it sound easy, like, oh, just pack less stuff. But I think it's true. It's like just be really mindful about what you're going to be doing wherever you're going. How many times you're really going to go out to dinner, how many nice shirts you really need. Um, I remember hearing this one time, like take everything out that you would want to pack and then cut it in half. And so I'm not directly saying that, but I think, I've definitely been the chronic overpacker in the past where I'm like, oh, I need all these things, like I need all these options. But I've also found that if I just pack my favorite things, then I never feel like when I'm getting dressed, I don't have anything to wear. Um,
I,
so okay.
I love it. No, these are great
Yeah,
tips and great tricks. And I've always said I want to just go away with the backpack and do it that way. I've never done it. Look, I'm going to Florida for one day, well, Sunday into Monday in a few weeks, right? And my goal is to just bring a carry-on. I know I'm crazy. And I'm like, well, what if I need these shoes? What if I need that shoe? It's one event that I'm going for. I just need something to
yeah,
wear there. Could probably wear that same outfit home. So I'm going to do it. I'll let you know how that goes. It's April like
yeah.
20. 21st, I think. I'm going to, because then I want to get right to the hotel to get ready for the event. It was like a polo thing. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to know what I'm wearing ahead of time. I'm not going to bring 5 dresses. I'm going to narrow it all down.
Exactly. Decide ahead of time. Yep. Know what you're going to wear, know the shoes, the accessories, and you'll have everything you need. And then the other thing is paring down the toiletries too. That can add up to become a lot of extra stuff.
Oh,
It's
what
like no
is it
piece of mind.
nowadays? Is it 1 ounce, 2 ounce? What is, I forget.
4,
That's the part. It's 1 ounce. So you bring a
4,
little, what, say it again?
4 ounces.
Oh, 4. So I got like my concern is like the makeup I wear or the foundation, the jars of the lotion. Does that all fit nowadays? I don't know.
I usually fly with all of that stuff and it fits. Yeah.
Awesome. The
Yeah.
big can of
Just have to
hairspray you
reach
got
the
to
bottom.
lose. You get a small can of
Yeah.
hairspray.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hard part.
Yeah. Can you put a razor like in your carry-on, like to shave with? That's
Mhm.
allowed?
Yep.
Okay, didn't know that. All right. Tweezers and stuff, they're not banned in the
Yep.
carry-on?
You can bring all that.
Wine, what about a wine opener?
Oh, I feel like that's been confiscated from me before. Yep.
Well,
Yep.
and what do you do
Unfortunately.
now for parents out there when you're traveling? Do you bring your kids' car seats with you? Or do you rent them while you're down there, or do you not use them?
Yeah, so we didn't need a car seats when we were in Disney because we were on all their public transportation, but I normally do not bring a car seat with me. I don't bring it on the airplane. That just seems like way too much work. I will say all car seats, strollers, pack and plays, all of that stuff flies free, so that's not a concern.
And it's available
But
for rental.
it is available if you're renting a car. You can always just rent it. I know I've always kind of been like, I want my own stuff. So there has been times that I think twice I flew my kids' seats with us, but again, under the plane, not on the plane with us. That was for like some longer trips, but
Wow.
they make nice car seat bags so you can get everything zipped in there and then just regular check it with your bigger bag.
Yeah.
But I try not to bring much extra.
Okay. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much. And one more time, how can we reach you?
Yeah, Instagram or Facebook at Sunny Spaces Organizing, or livingsunny.com.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your day. Thanks for these great tips and have a fantastic day.
Thanks, you too. We'll see you.
Thank you. And to all of our listeners and viewers, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.